Hello and welcome to today's cryptocurrency technical analysis, where we will be going into the Bitcoin chart together, going over the current drop that we're seeing on Bitcoin and the most important support and resistance levels to be aware of on this week of trading. So as you know, you're here for the most professional technical analysis on YouTube. We're not going to have any shilling, no moonboy stuff, just pure technical analysis that you've come to love. So without further said or do, let's get into what we love together, the charts. So Bitcoin. We obviously saw a move up yesterday up to around $49,000, holding just shy of that big resistance of $50,000. This is just, in my opinion, a psychological level. It's like a level that you have to imagine people that have been making really good profits on this way up. This is naturally going to be a really big take profit level. So the selling pressure in the market basically increases. You're seeing an increase in people willing to sell at this level, primarily profit taking. Because obviously, like we say many times, unrealized profit is fake money. Okay, you don't actually make profit until you sell. So naturally, at such a psychological level, $50,000, people are interested in selling here. So that's kind of why you get these build-ups of, a really tight battle between support and resistance, really tight battle between the bulls and the bears. And ultimately, on this battle, we can say the bears have slightly come out on top. Nothing major. This is just a small move, in my opinion. If you're worried about this move to the downside, there's one of a few things that why you might be worried or emotional at this moment in time. Number one, you're using too much leverage. If you are scared about this move to the downside, then you're just using too much leverage. Number two, you don't have a good trading plan. Just period. You don't have a good trading plan if you're worried about this move. And thirdly, I suppose you just don't have a plan at all. So if you have no plan and you see this move to the downside and you start panicking, you start getting emotional, then you're going to lose money. Let's just put it like that. I think if you approach this in a non-emotional way, you just cover the most important support and resistances, which I'm going to go over now. There's no reason to be emotional, worried, or anything like that in this video. Just purely trade the charts. It's pretty clear why we rejected off this region. It's, in my opinion, just simply because of that big 50,000 psychological level. You had a little bit of a front run, and well, selling pressure in the end became too much, and you fall to the downside. And what you have to remember is, I personally am under the perspective that if you're buying at $49,000 on the weekends, what is going through your thought process right now? In what world is buying $49,000 on a weekend a good buy? I think it shows a massive sign of fear of missing out. And it also shows a massive sign of having no patience. Buying up at these levels is, in my opinion, really crazy, I suppose, and just not a good idea in any way, shape or form. Like buying the all-time high weekend, I don't know, doesn't generally work in a very good idea. So what did you have that really went on here? Obviously, you had this rising wedge. So you did have a rising wedge, and that obviously is a bearish pattern. So it's when you form this curling up price action. You curl up. In the end, you couldn't even breach the $50,000 psychological. That would have been, in my opinion, a good short, but didn't breach it in the end, and you fall back down. And this is the really interesting part. This is where we can say we absolutely love technical analysis and we love trading the charts, because have a guess. What is the Fibonacci level of chart champions? Well, our Fibonacci level is the CC. And ladies and gentlemen, if you look where we bounced from here, okay, we take our fibs from the low up to that high, and you can see we come straight down into that CC support. So you form a rising wedge, which is obviously a bearish pattern. You fall down from the rising wedge, but then the level where you bounce, just look at the precision on that. That is the CC Fibonacci level. And you're bouncing off of that with utter precision for a move, obviously a bounce to the upside. So I think we can all acknowledge and agree that that is clearly a really big support level. That's obviously coming in there, a low of around $45,800. So we can say that 45,800 is a really big support currently. Okay, it was the CC. You also took some lows, and you've had a strong bounce from that level. If you actually see here, if we come down on a lower term time frame, obviously we bounced from the CC. Here when we hit 45,800. And then if you look again from the low to the high, you come back into then the CC and you bounce again. So it's like you bounce from the overall CC, and even if you miss that move, if you have a little bit of patience, you have a secondary move into then this CC. So I mean, yeah, let's just say there's been plenty of opportunities should you have wanted to long this instead of longing up at all-time highs on a weekend. You got to wait for those retracements. You got to wait for those better areas of value, and I truly believe that just requires a little bit of patience. Obviously, it requires having a plan, and there's no need to be worried or emotional when price is coming down here. Obviously, I done a Champions live stream last night, the 14th, Valentine's Day. We were going for a Champions live stream last night where I personally have a plan, and all I can say, I don't want to give away the exact levels that I'm looking to buy, because obviously this is for the champions who are in the membership. But nevertheless, all I can say is I'm happy that we got a drop to the downside, and I don't think there's any reason to be worried or fearful about these drops. They're just offering good trades, let's put it like that. But yeah, moving on, I mean, yeah, to give you the really important support there on Bitcoin, in my opinion, it really is that 45,800. That is, again, the CC support. We have now taken the lows, and, well, that's just really, in my opinion, the support of today. Okay, the support of today. Obviously, tomorrow, you could break support and head back down. Or alternatively, we can start to reclaim once again our resistances and look towards a potential all-time high again. So where are our resistances then? Well, if you look at the, if this was our support trend line, on the rising wedge, one would generally say that if you lose a support trend line, that you can backtest it as resistance, and if it holds, then you can expect another move to the downside. Or alternatively, you get back above it, and sky's the limit, I suppose, again then. And that, so if we are looking for a backtest on this, again, it's a little bit arbitrary of, are we going to pull it from here? And then you can see if you pull it directly on the wicks, if you zoom in here really closely, you can see this is the exact wick touch. That's the exact wick touch, and we basically done a perfect backtest there. So you, from the trend line, you have done a perfect support backtest of resistance. So that's one thing to bear in mind if you're putting it directly on the wicks. And the other way that you can pull this is basically attaching it up to some of the bigger lows with the candle closes. And if you do it from the candle closes and you haven't quite done your back test, you might not get that back test till around $48,600. So I think your key resistance right now is really $45,600. If you start to get back above $48,600, which is your key resistance, well, then naturally you can be looking towards $50,000 again. Quite simply, so I feel you have two really important levels today. You have 45,800 support, and then you have that 48,600 resistance. So you have a very clearly defined resistance and support. Naturally, if you lose this support, you look down for lower levels. And if you reclaim this resistance as support, then you look up for higher levels. Okay, I don't feel that the trade is that, it's not really that difficult today. And again, if you approach this in a totally non-emotional way, just totally focused on the charts and the technicals that you have here, yeah, I don't feel that this is a surprise, really, that you come down from here. I mean, you just have to think there's lots of people interested in selling at 50,000. It's a weekend, and cooped with the fact, who buys at those levels. And then you obviously see a flush to the downside. And then is there a surprise that you bounced off the CC? In my opinion, no, it isn't really a surprise. One would imagine that you get a bounce off of there. Whether it holds overall is another question. But then when you have a CC and you come down into it again, I mean, your risk is so small. So naturally you get bounces off of these levels, So, that's my opinion on the chart. Again, this is a very professional driven analysis where I'm just truly looking at the charts and I'm giving a clear support. If that clear support is lost, you look down for your next lower support. A clear resistance. If that clear resistance is broken, you look up for your next resistance level. And so it's you're approaching the chart in a level to level, I was going to say manera. You're approaching it a level to level way, which in my opinion is the best way to trade. You're not going to be driven by emotions. You're not going to be driven by fear. You're not going to be driven by either fear or fear of missing out. None of those things that block off many traders. You're just truly driven from level to level. Gain resistance, look to the next one. Lose support, look to the next one. It's the way that I love to trade. It's, in my opinion, the best way to trade. And until proven otherwise, that's the way I'm always going to trade. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to cover in this video. We've purely gone over Bitcoin. So for a quick summary, I've given you, in my opinion, the reason why we came down from here. In the end, it was just too much selling pressure, a mixture of people over leveraged, people trying to buy the all-time high on the weekend, and also the fact that there's a lot of selling pressure at $50,000. You fall down from your rising wedge, you bounce off to CC, and now we've activated our next really important resistance and next really important support that will hopefully last you a few days. What we'll always say is if this video, let's say, gets, I don't know, 1,800 likes, then I will do a live stream for you within the next 48 hours talking you through Bitcoin. So it's as simple as that. If you want to see a live stream from me, give a like to the video, and yeah, we'll get a live stream to you within 48 hours if we hit the like goal. If not, I hope you have a brilliant week ahead of trading. I'm personally gonna be looking forward to this week. I have my plan absolutely set in stone, exactly how I'm going to trade it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the opportunities presented here, really. So have a brilliant week, everybody. Thank you ever so much, and hopefully you crush the charts and make some money. Thank you ever so much. Have a good day and goodbye. Cheers.